think you see what's going on here already. I'm just trying to capture this, this sphere is heading towards Florida, and you can see that looks like they've tried to disrupt it a little bit here. Watch as these rays kind of shoot in there. See the radar trying to break it up a little bit or something? I don't know if it's enhancing it or what, but this is the same storm that moved through Houston. All right, now it's about to hit Florida here, Ocala, the Villages area right in there. Okay, so I'm going to leave it right there for a second so you guys can see it. And I don't know if these radar shafts are disrupting it, trying to disrupt the. You can see the sphere and you can see the activity out in front of it. And it looks like they're trying to disrupt it or something. I don't know. It's kind of hard to tell here. I got to keep touching this screen or else it'll go out. So, but also we should put a warning up for everybody in this region of Florida. This is the same storm front that moved, the same sphere pushing this storm front that moved through Texas and did a bunch of damage and killed 4 people. So it's important that we get word out right now that this is heading towards all these regions of Florida right there. All right, and this is nothing to be, take lightly. This storm had 100-mile-an-hour winds in it, and if we can see here, it's doing that same spheroid effect that I was talking about earlier that I was hoping to capture again out of this storm. There was some better stuff, a lot more defined just a little while ago, but I was kind of busy trying to readjust this app and take the wind currents out of it so we can see it a little bit better. I think I'll leave it right there, let it refresh. And then you can see they're shooting radar beams or something at it, trying to disrupt it, or maybe that's coming off of the object or something. But you can see now this little pop-up out front has curled around and is starting to hook into it right there. That's going to be some rotation right there. Oh dear. Let's pull it over this way just a tad. I want to see, look at this sphere right here forming out front. Okay. I'm just trying to also capture this for the record for my channel for posterity as a reference too. It's late at night. Not a lot of people are checking the radar right now. And that's why I wanted to capture this. All right, you see that sphere right there? Do you see how it's pulling moisture and hooking it up around to the left? That's going to cause rotation. There's going to be a tornado probably in this. See that purple band of hail starting to form? Those cloud tops are getting really high, really thick. There's going to be a really strong hailstorm, wind event, possibly tornado up at the top of that when you see the rotation there. And that's coming right at Tampa. Well, this whole bay right in there, you see, wow, look at this radar reflection off of it now. What the heck? All right, everybody in that area, take shelter or be aware that it's coming. Okay. Like I said, this is the same spheroid that moved over Houston, Texas, pushing this wall of wind and weather. And now it's coming towards Florida here. right, sorry, there's not a bunch of other stuff going on right now. I'm trying to capture this, and it's important that we get this documented, and the effects too of what this does, because now we can study the side effects, the geometry, the movement, reactions, and stuff. It almost seems like it expanded in size. We have this little spheroid out front there, but the whole thing almost looks like it jumped in diameter. I don't know. I'll let you be the judge of that as well. But everybody in this area of Florida, take shelter. That's a big, wide wall of wind. It's moving. It looks like they're enhancing it or something and drawing it in even faster. You notice how this wall gets dense and thick and broad. You see the little sphere up front here starting to form. Man, too close. There we go. Also, let's back out just a tad bit. Whoops, not that far. You see these little pop-ups that are right as it's about to hit shore, right off of Cedar Key right there, and the one right behind it. Watch out in there too. All right, this thing's about to really make landfall here in just a second. Everybody in that whole stretch of beach, take cover. This thing's about to make landfall. And I think, well, it's what, almost 5 here, so that makes it 8 in the morning out there. People should be awake by now, paying attention. This is going to be quite a storm when it makes landfall here. And I think I might just kind of leave it right here for a moment. I want to get that ad out of there. I just set it so we can get that stuff out of there. Look how it's just engulfing the whole coastline right there. So everybody in that region, take shelter or be prepared. You got a nasty storm coming off the ocean. And we'll just reset it here. Give me just a second here. Come back in just a sec here. So it's important we, anybody out that way, that we inform them this is going on. Come on now. What's going on here? There we go. It should be coming back now. Or not. What's going on here? It started to come back there. Bear with me for a second. It's important that we capture this event, because here we go. All right, back to business here. Also, this northern part where this other sphere kind of formed, do you see the rotation, how it's drawn moisture up there and trying to get it to rotate? So up at this end of the storm, watch out right in there. That part, when it makes landfall, it might have a water spout making landfall right there by the time it progresses and gets to that point. Do you see how that came up and is starting to, form a little rotation, or it's going to go over the top of the sphere there? possibly. Back up a little bit. Wow, a lot going on in there. We clearly have some spheroid-shaped object that's inducing this storm front, and it looks like they're either that's radar, missing data, because I don't see any beams like coming at it, but it does seem to be affecting it. It could be the sphere itself emitting some kind of electromagnetic frequency to induce a tad bit more activity there. And I was just about to call it a night, go to bed. I was out on the road and checking the radar. I saw this already taking place, and I'm like, oh man, when I get home, I'm gonna have to try to capture this. So again, here we have our weather being affected by an outside force, a spherical, I don't know, outside force, you could call it, whether it's man-made or God's doing it, something spherical moving through the atmosphere is causing these weather effects. I'm just gonna kind of continue to do this until it makes landfall here. We'll see what kind of impacts this is going to have here in the coming hour or so here. Oops, let me pull it more this way. All right, notice how that little sphere is, although the weather's turning intense around the smaller one. Okay, we'll see here in just a few minutes. You can see our little pop-ups out front here are already gonna, whoops, I'm going too far. We're about to make landfall here at Cedar Key. And there's a leading little edge right there with your sphere already causing rotation right there. Here comes a new update scan. Okay, so here it comes. It's about to make landfall right there. And, well, let's take a peek at some of these spots. Cross City, how, yeah, right there. Cross City. Finland? What the heck? Oh, dang it. Let's try this again. What's up?
One more thing, please don't forget to try and get my meds tomorrow.
Oh, yeah. I already got it. They'll be ready when I get. I'll have them ready before I go to work.
Perfect. That's amazing.
All right, I'm still alive. All right, here we go. Whoops. Really. Bear with me just another second here. You can see what I'm up against here, so bear with me. Very important what we capture here. So let me pull back out. Oh, please. So, come on, open up the app. Okay. I'm going in there now. Okay, so that whole bay and going into like Tampa Bay here. Let's see if we get an inflow notch right here, probably in a minute. You see how air is flowing and circulating around that other sphere, so we might get a little bit of rotation here in a minute as this makes landfall. So, oh boy. Everybody from Cross City to Cedar Key, that whole stretch of beach right there. I'd get back from the beach if I were you. Brace for impact of this storm making landfall here. Try to adjust this little guy a little bit better. Please let this work. So frustrating trying. At least we got a second device working here just in time for this. Okay, I think right about there is good. And we'll let that play for a loop or two here. Let me see if I can find something. Stick under there. Come on. Ooh, maybe that'll work. Okay, this is going to be large hail, high winds, flash flooding. There might even be a storm surge with this because it's moving so fast itself. So that whole bay right there could see some storm surge come on shore, as well as a very, very powerful storm with high winds, possible land spouts making, or water spouts making landfall. Let's see what happens up here. I'm surprised they haven't put some kind of warning out yet. Even if it doesn't have rotation or tornado, this is a very strong, fast-moving storm. All right, so you can see how fast it's moving right there. Just in the short time since I've gone live, it's already addressing the coast right there. And, oh, I had to bump that. All right, thankfully this is working a little bit. All right. Down here, we're starting to see a little bit of inflow. What's going on right in there? Very tail end of this right here, we're starting to see a little inflow notch here. Let's see what our next couple of scans bring. I don't know. It's going to be very, very touchy here. Please pull it down. Poor old device is slow, so there we go. I'll leave it alone for a minute. Kind of leave it at that perspective. So Cedar Key to Cross City is getting hit first, and then that whole bay from Cedar Key all the way down to Spring Hill, Bayonet Point right there. And let's watch this end as well. It might get a hook in it. We'll kind of position it right about there, I guess. All right. Jesus, I ask you, put a hedge of protection over the people of Florida right now. Trying to see if this is going to turn into an inflow notch up here. Well, even though the Weather Service hasn't put out a warning or issued anything, we're probably asleep at the wheel right now. This is going to be a big wall of wind, severe weather, possible embedded tornadoes, hail, heavy rains, coastal flooding, coastal erosion, possibly coastal inundation as well. Might have a little storm surge out of this. And remember, this is the same one that just plowed through Houston. Okay, it didn't have any mercy on Houston. It just ravished them. And I should show you something. Maybe tomorrow I'll show you the radar. Right before this storm hit Houston, there were two storms, kind of one on the one side and one on the other. And if they had combined, it would have been one giant couplet. Do you know what a couplet is? It's a tight little rotation with winds going one direction and the other. We had one whole band like this of storms that was rotating one way and another one coming in. There was a thin green line in between the two, and if that had broken down, the two storms would have merged into a 7-8 mile wide couplet. If you can imagine the base of a tornado, 7 to 8 miles wide, maybe even wider. I saw that coming and I got on my knees and Jesus, please put a hedge of protection over them. And the funniest thing happened out of nowhere, just as it started to bear down and start to form one huge couplet. A weird wall of moisture came right up in front of it and diffused the whole situation and made it not as bad as it could have been for Texas. And when I show you the radar image tomorrow, you will go, oh, I see what you mean. Actually, you know what? I think while we're here, I might be able to bring it up in the background here. Just bear with me for a second. That was over here. And we were, remember to touch this so it keeps going. It was today. And it was right around there. Just gonna keep this going. All right.
Were you born between 1969 and 1979? If so, you can get a Milwaukee combo kit completely free. And I can tell you right now.
Thank you. Now, let's see, where was this couplet? All right, bear with me for a second. Whoopsie. Got something going on here in the background for you, too, that we're going to pull up in just a second. All right, here we go. And download back up again here. I'm trying to find this couplet. Okay. Let's see. Whoopsie. Did we get too zoomed in there? My bad. I was trying to set up something in the background here. Okay, so we still got this thing moving in here. And while it's it looks like it's getting kind of longer, even bigger. Looks like a little seahorse. What the heck? All right, well, we had our little spheroid come up here. Wow, this is going to be really, really weird. There's a red dragon about to attack Cedar Keys, or Cedar Key. It looked like he got two little flames coming out of his nostrils. Even the yellow outline. Wow, what the heck? Or a big old horse head, too, with the green added to it. Whoa, are you guys seeing this? What the? Okay, you see the bigger green horse's head? And then a bigger wolf or something. What the heck? A bull. Yeah, I see that too. You see the horns coming up in the yellow as a bull. Oh my God. Everybody in that area, brace for impact. There's a bull loose in the China shop. Look how his nose fits the coastline. What the? Oh, no way. Whoops, come back here. Get right there. And look at the red dragon that's inside of it. A yellow type animal, a green horse, and then the yellow horns makes it a bull. It's a Red Bull. Does it have wings? Oh, I'm so glad I captured this. Well, you guys are here for another historic event. I was just here trying to capture our spheroid type structure doing, wow. Look at the bay, actually looks like a bull before it forms. What a trip. Oops, so touchy. Wow. I was just about to show you this amazing couplet too, and it's going to have to wait for a second until this is a dragon, a horse, and a bull. Yeah. Spiritual events that happen to me, man, around me, everywhere I go. All I did was turn on the app and try to look at it and show you guys the spheroid. I didn't mean to kick up the bull, stir up the bull. This is changing almost to a deer with antlers or something. Oops, not that small. That's crazy stuff, man. Okay, we've gotten the structure of the animal heads. I want to kind of get in a little tighter here. It's important that we kind of check on where it's making landfall. Look how it's just matching the coast perfectly. Where's his eye looking at? His eye's looking right at Cross City. So the eye of the creature is looking right at Cross City. Hint, hint, Cross City. So now kind of stretching from Perry down through Cross City, Cedar Key, then all the way down again to New Point Richie there. You see how that's these little pop-ups right there? So that whole area is going to be the target zone with a big stag, bull, dragon, oh my gosh, whatever you want to call it, coming right at Gainesville too. Ocala will be caught in there. The whole middle section of Florida, this thing's going to go barreling right across there. What a trip. Wow, Jesus. Thank you. Thank you, Lord, for amazing stuff that you do, Lord. Okay, might leave right there for just a second. You see this couplet in the background? This is all wind going one way, and this is a big surge of wind coming into Houston, right? So everybody was watching. Well, I'm waiting for this app to open. Everybody's watching this wall of wind come in. If this had connected over and this had wrapped around and turned into one big couplet, Houston would no longer be on the map anymore. Do you see the giant couplet right here that could have formed if that little green barrier in the middle had not been there? Let's get back to this here. My wire's pulling stuff down now. So, and we got to zoom back out. This is making a different image now. Now there's a new little eye right there, forming some different kind of head or something. Notice how these little rays that came in there, whatever, kind of really dispersed it and scattered it up. Or at least tried to, but now we're getting this effect. All right, that's good for a second. Wow. All right, just gonna leave that there. It's changing into a ram. Yep, you can see the horns curling back around. It's changing into a ram. For Aries. Wow. Now ask yourself, what are the odds that it made all these different kind of animals that kind of in your imagination per se, we'll say pareidolia, but that's for human faces. How many different structures did we just see, from seahorse to dragon to horse to bull and now a ram, and it looks like it's going to turn into a lion too. So, I mean, just ask yourself, what are the odds, all that? And we got our spheroid shape object that's pushing all this. Telling you, these events are spiritual in nature. And, like I said, I was out taking care of business and checked the radar app to see what this round feature, if it was doing it again. And lo and behold, look what we caught here. So let me just run that right there. I'll leave it right there for a second. And while it's making animals, I'm going to go check on my cat. I'll be right back. Give this one last little touch right there so it lasts a little longer. Now we will be right back here. Herbie, kitty. Are we still going here? Nope, it's blacked out. All right, I'm back. Sorry about that. Oh, come on now. Anyways, while this is resetting here. Oh, why does it do this? Such an old device, but at least we have one. Anyways, you see this blue area with the pink in it right there. Those are high winds coming in, surging in. This is a spherical object right here that came barreling over into Houston. Now you see this wind coming around this way. If this little green barrier breaks down and these two couple together, you're going to get a couplet that's this big in circumference. Do you see what I'm saying here? Let me try to find a little further on in the stage right there. Okay, and everybody's adjust this a little better. Everybody's looking at this part, but no one's paying attention to this sneaking around the back. And like I said, this little green barrier right here is keeping these two air masses from conjoining, and that could have turned into one huge couplet over Houston. All right. So I saw that forming and I'm like, no, this can't happen. I got on my knees and threw down some serious prayers to avoid what could happen there. Okay. So it's important that you guys, when you see stuff like this happening, we're going to see eventually this barrier in the middle will break down and we will have a huge mega tornado. These winds right here in the pink were going 110 miles an hour in one direction. Then you take winds going the opposite direction at 110. You combine those 110 110, that's 220 mile an hour difference rotation, and that thing almost connected. What? Oh, how does this come unplugged? Really, Lord? What is going on? Got forces over here that don't like me. Bear with me. I'm trying to pull up this radar again. So this is the same. The one that we were just watching a second ago is this same storm that made its way down off the coast. Look at this point right here. Let's see. Whoops. Oh, we gotta have an ad just to jump 5 seconds in a video. Unbelievable. Guys are so greedy. All right, let's pause it right there. I want to use this. You see this blue and the red? If they touch, if that green breaks down in between there, you're looking at a tornado that's going to be, well, very big in circumference with, 100 to 200 mile an hour winds. That could have been way, way worse than it was. All right, and let's just see where the finally here you see where they start to touch, and there was a little small tornado that was included in that event when captured in Houston there. And check out Max Velocity. He's a good weatherman for live not all the time is Ryan Hall up, so he's a good backup. Okay, and he's got the Radar Omega app to where he can show you the wind velocities. And someday I'll get that app here, and we'll be reporting similar to what they're doing here. Plus, we'll be taking the sphere action, adding it to our wind velocity couplets here. And I'm very curious as to see. Here we go. It's coming back. Why does it have to go down right then? All right, give us just a second here while I pull this app back up. But very, very dangerous situation right there. And a lot of people, I think 4 people perished because, trees fell. All right, so you get high winds. Not only if it doesn't touch down a tornado, the straight line winds themselves took out the buildings downtown, glass, in the high rises of the buildings. Oh, why is this not working now? It's got to go through this alarm stage. Anyways, let me get just a tad bit further here. So this huge blob of wind right here is our sphere moving inward, and it came down underneath this, and this almost wrapped around and completed a huge, huge couple. Like I said, now please with the radar, Lord Jesus. It's taking a second to pull up here, so there we go. I think we're gonna have success in just a second here. Let me get this set back up. All right, it's gonna refresh here in just a second and give you the whole minute's worth. I think it should. There we go. All right, thanks for hanging in there, you guys. Sorry about the technical difficulties we got. Got to do what I got to do. There we go. All right, so we've seen creature faces. Let's just kind of go in a little here. Hang on just a second. I got be careful I don't bump the power button here. That was our issue. All right, here we go. It's closing in now. You can see this main little part breaking off right here. Going up this way towards Sheffield or Sheffland. Come here. Chiefland. Trenton, Cross City. This whole coastline right here. Bronze. Well, looks like it's going to go more towards Chiefland right there. You see that little hook starting to form right there? Trying to get less of the ad in there, more of the activity here. Well, it's not running very smooth. It's a little jumpy. Like they skipped all the animal faces and cut them out, huh? It sure looks like it. That's all right. We already got it recorded. So, everybody on the Tampa Bay area and northward there a little bit, everybody brace for impact. You got this big old storm coming on shore. And this is the one that killed 4 people in Houston earlier yesterday, so just hours ago. Now bearing down on Florida, so hopefully it doesn't kick off any tornadoes or anything. I don't see any warnings popping up yet. All right, here's an update coming up. Strange how it keeps creating an eye. From creature to creature, it keeps an eye. Very interesting. Oops. Won't go up that much. Things too touchy. There we go. Okay, thank you, Becca Loves Jesus, for being here. Jimmy Satterfield, thank you. Just thank some of the people that are here. I see you guys just chatting away. Cool. We're seeing some of the stuff I'm seeing too. And Leslie. All right, cool. All right, you guys have a nice time in the chat room while I document this. What a trip. It's starting to look more like a lion now that's roaring a little bit. Looks like it's about to take a bite out of that region right there. It's going to take a bite out of Crystal Bay. Wow. All right. Oh, it's getting late. I need to lay down and get a little bit of rest, but continue to record this just for a few more here. Wow. Crazy stuff. All right. Looking like a lion now, huh? Okay. All right, enough looking at creatures. We need to get busy here because this pop-up down below here, this is where we would see some rotation on the very tip of this thing, and this is coming together here very quickly. We could possibly see these two connect and become an inbound flow, and this little red pop-up will become the tornado here in a minute. I pray that doesn't happen, but I see it kind of setting up. Also, right here on land, you see this firing up right there in front. Those are the ones we got to be careful of, the pop-ups that are out in front. Let's just let this reload. A new frame of data there. You know what? I'm not sure if I have my alerts on this app right now. All right, what we can do is pull back a little bit. Still see our pop-up down below and your creature. It kind of changed and stopped doing that now. Okay, here we go. And now, if this does produce, let's start looking at trajectories here. It'd be going up this way. So, what's this? Homestead Springs? No, Homossaga Springs. Please bring that back. Homossaga Springs, Homossaga. This whole area right here, when we back out, please come on. If this wraps up and starts rotating, and you see the direction the clouds are going that way, the one that just popped up out in front, that's kind of the trajectory that this if this wraps up, that's the trajectory it would be taking. Getting a hail core starting to form right here on the very tip of that one. Hopefully they just merge and we don't get an inflow there. All right. Well, I'm glad I got to document a lot of this. What we're kind of watching here, here's our spheroid right there, and you can see stuff roiling around it. All right. Look at this low pressure on the back side here. You can see the back side of the sphere right there. As this precipitation diminishes going over the right there. And then you can see the leading edge of the sphere right here is causing the air, it's pushing the air up and over the sphere, and it gets turbulent right in there. And that's where you get your uplift and your updrafts, is at the front of that thing when it's lifting up, going over it. So that lifting up effect might cause, oh, come on now, right here out front, this pop-up to get caught up in this uplift and create some rotation here. Also back down in this part of the tail now, we got stuff growing right at the end right here. That'll all fill in with red, and we'll start getting further down towards Clearwater and Tampa. Now it looks like Godzilla taking a bite. Give me just a second, see if I got my alerts turned on this. Come on, turn on. All right. All right, hopefully it's coming back now. I turned the warnings on. Still, apparently no warning or alert for this area. I guess they don't think it's that serious, but this is the same storm that hit Houston earlier. Yeah, I'm a little concerned for this area right here. This coming together, coming on shore, even if it doesn't produce a tornado, that's going to be a very violent downpour, lots of water. Let's see what's going on also in here. All right, a few more minutes of this. Please, Lord, why does it keep still plugged in? Okay. Okay, it actually merged with the storm and didn't create an inflow. But now look at the red eye. What's Does it look like it took a bite? How crazy. Yeah, that it didn't form a couplet. It ended up just merging with it. So good, because we don't want any rotation storm twisting up and hitting the shoreline with the tornado. What's he taking a bite of? What town there? There's a red eye ram with his horns going back. You see a snake too, yeah, in the red there, yeah. All kinds of different stuff going on in there. It's just if I'd have told you this happened on the radar app and hadn't captured it, you'd probably be like, yeah, right. But we're capturing it, baby. All right, that's still closing in on the beach in that bay there. So see how it's coupling around and pinching it off like that? That could shove a bunch of water this way Right here. Shove water down that way, up this way. It's corralling the water into that bay right there, so they could get a little storm surge right in that region. I turned the warnings on too. Yeah, look at that snake coming up in the back right there. What a trip. All right, what I'm gonna try to do here. All right, there we go for a minute. Let it play there. Looks like it took a bite. It just chomped down. That is so crazy. All right, just kind of let that play for a minute here. Trying to get the wavy lines out of there. So crazy looking. Looks like it's taking a bite. It's got like Beavis or Butthead's haircut. Now this line that was the jaw closing here. See that line coming together at the very end right here? We could see right there. We might have to watch out. Also, we got large hail, these purple pink spots, large hail, lots of water, high winds. You might feel something biting on you. How crazy is that? Hang on, we gotta put the foot back on this thing again. All right, just a few more minutes of this till it's kind of fully made landfall and everything, and then I gotta hit the sack for a minute. Take a power nap. So this little linear line right here, watch out. You see, we might get some wrap around here. See a little bit of motion going that way. All right. how you guys doing today? Hmm? You ever thought you'd start your day off looking at something like this, huh? Always something new. I'm just glad I got this app working a little bit better on this old phone. Very strange activity. It seems like the sphere is either rotating or it's magnetically pulling stuff to go over it. Almost as if it were spinning. And you can see down here this curled up turbulence that is caused from that. Let's just let it. Oh, it's turned right there. Also down here, connecting up. That'll probably get engulfed in there too. It'll get absorbed too. All right, we'll let that play for a few more minutes until it finishes making landfall there, and then I gotta take a quick little power nap. Wow, quite the evidence we've captured here today or tonight. That's a little too far back. Right there's good. All right, see how it's closing in on this bay right here? All that wind coming from this direction, closing in like a wedge is going to drive all that water right there on shore, right by, well, what is that? Inverness. Beverly Hills and Inverness, this coastal region right there might get some flooding. And I think you can see why. All right, right there should be good. I'll just leave it alone for a minute. So crazy is taking a bite like that. Hmm. Let's see some of this activity down here at the very end. What's going on right there? All right, so Spring Hill, everybody from like Newport Richie north all the way up to Cross City. Intense serious storm hitting your area right now. That is so crazy. And here I thought I was going to get some sleep tonight. Yeah. Yeah, it is kind of odd. There's no weather warnings. There's clearly something going on here. This thing is bearing down on the west coast of Florida. I'm just wondering, maybe I don't have the app set up right with the tornado warnings or anything going on right now, but oh yeah. All right, you guys, I'm gonna wrap it up. I'm glad we were able to capture some of that. Maybe we'll just do a few more minutes here. I want to see. Look at that little ring already on the coast right there. That little cove is already. Oh, it's gonna flash flood that cove right there. This area right there. It's going to push water right up into that shallow. See how it gets shallow right up in there? It's going to flood that little bay right there. Crystal River. Why does this keep backing out? Bear Island, Crystal River. Some of those places. As this pocket. Sorry, this phone's so slow. Collapses down right as it's getting on shore right there at that little bay. So you might see a little coastal inundation right in that zone right there. It's almost like that bay was shaped by this kind of activity, huh? What the heck? Is it molding around that or what? Oh, it looks like an ear, kind of. Yeah, definitely spiritual too. Everything is. Probably not many people, only a few people here. I doubt if many of you guys have recognized the code in the music yet. But when you hear your favorite rock song playing on the radio, playing in code, and you look up at your sky and you see giant faces and all kinds of spiritual stuff in your sky while hearing spiritual stuff in the music, all of a sudden you're going to get this different realization of where you're at. This planet looks a lot different than you're like, what? I never seen the Earth look so beautiful before. All right. It's bearing down on that little cove right there. They're getting hit with a big old wall of intense weather that has a big old lion, dragon, Godzilla, ram biting down on the coastline type crazy stuff. There's another little eye forming. You're going to turn into a rabbit or something? Very, very interesting, odd storm behavior from these spheres, whatever's causing them, that kind of activity causing strange weather events now. This is even getting a little more intense down in this region now. As it comes on shore, it's just picking up all that water on shore and combining it into the storm right there. And that's Bayonet Point. So everybody in that region, be on top of your game. If you got people in that area, let them know. Weather Service may not be warning people. Go into that bay one more time and watch it kind of close in on that little ear type feature there. So it's almost as if the shallower water almost creating convection over it. I doubt if that's the case, but very interesting how it's matching the shape. Are you guys doing that? Did somebody put their finger right there and make it stop and go around that spot? Look how it's following this little bay right up. Look at this. Wait until it restarts over. It kind of looks like it's trying to match the terrain a little bit is all. Maybe me. What a trip how it's just bending around that one spot right there. Is it ever going to pass over it? I mean, we spent more time watching this one little closure spot than it took for the thing to move across the Gulf of Mexico. All right, let's see what kind of critter we got now, huh? No, not making anything anymore. Wow, quite an event here. Oh, excuse me. So the storm that went through Houston and did a lot of damage has now made its way across the Gulf and is chomping down on Florida. Okay. I think that's going to be it. It doesn't seem like it's ever going to make it past that point right there. There we go. So that little area right there probably going to get some good coastal inundation a little bit everywhere along this coast because of this front. But see how it kind of corrals it right into that little pocket? So you'll probably see a little bit of water come pushing up on shore right there. A little bit of storm surge just from the sheer velocity of this storm in the first place. It's moving pretty fast. And you can see how everything's coming together. It's all starting to point out to this spot right there. That's where we might see a spin up, actually. Let's see what happens here. I guess we got a few more minutes. Come on. See, everything's kind of pointing in that one spot, right? It might converge. All right. Well, this is still going to be a very, very volatile storm as it moves across Florida here, this section of Florida. Everybody in that box right there, be aware you got nasty storm pushing through there. Just capture one last thing here and then I'm going to wrap it up because I'm getting tired. I'm getting tired. Just if I don't get any rest, I won't be on my game tomorrow. Yeah, so wild weather. Glad I was able to capture the spheroid effect. Pretty cool how it changed into a bunch of creatures there as we were watching. So, meantime, everybody in Florida, that whole section, that middle part of Florida right there, just even though they're not, issuing a warning, fair warning, you got a, derecho type storm moving through there with straight line winds that are really fast. So that's it for now. I love you all. God bless you all. And until my next show, I will be back. I'm already back. Can't you tell?